Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Nelson. Hello, Chris and Antonia.
Hey.
Yeah. Only one dancing in my chair to this awesome song.
Yeah, I think it's going on and in and out, the music.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Slightly.
That's what you want. Bring me down. Bring me down. Love is too high. Bring me down. Bring me down. I said, take it down. Bring me down. Bring me down. Love is too high. Bring me down. Bring me down. I said, welcome everybody. How are you on this Monday? It is Monday, isn't it? It is Monday.
Yes it is.
Hello, Elijah, how are you?
Good.
Wonderful. Marcus, how are you? Thumbs
Super.
up. Super. We are joined today by a special guest, Annalise.
Thank you.
Give us
Hi.
a wave.
Hi, everyone.
Annalise is a brand new confidence hackers coach and is going to be helping us with the first part of today's session, which is win the what ifs war. If the what ifs are causing you some anxiety, stress, what if this, what if that, what if everything, Annalise and I are going to be helping you manage your mindset so that you can move past all of that stuff, because the what ifs, we're going to get into that in a moment anyway.
We all have them.
We totally all have them. And especially as startups and starting to build our businesses, thinking about our businesses, the what ifs can just go a little bit cray. Then we'll be having a break, and after the break, the big one. Marcus and Elijah will be sharing with us. Ching, 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 ching. How do you make the money? It's all about the money, honey. We love it.
How about show me the money?
Hey,
Okay.
100% show me the money. Can I show you? I just showed Elijah before, but my cat is so excited about today. Let me just move my camera around. There she is, up on the door. She is like pumped and excited about, making money, managing her mindset as well. Love it, love it, love it. Before we go too much further on, just hello, Elizabeth.
Cat.
Confident, she is. Confident Saffron, absolutely. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Nelson. Hello, Chris and Antonia. Hello, Marie-Louise, and hello, Vios. You guys are our stable, aren't you? Love you being here. Love it that we can see you too, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for having your camera on. Before we go too much further, would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands and waterways in which we meet, and pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging. And let's also say hi to Sanchi, who's just joined us, sneaking in the back of the room. Thank you. Hello. We are also today going to be having a little bit of time available for questions around where you're at, what's happening for you, what questions that you have about your business, if you've got it started, if you're at that point where you just go like, I've got to this certain point and now I feel like I can't go any further. What do I do? So make sure, hello, Alex, make sure you bring your questions as well, because you've got amazing mentors here to help and guide and coach you. So, hello, Alex. I don't think you heard the hello when we were just saying hellos. I think you were still connecting to audio. Anyway, let's have a look at winning the what ifs war. Tell me, what do you guys think that even means? I'm just going to move my desk up so I'm standing up. I'm getting sick of the sitting down. Let me just tell me. Marie-Louise said, I'm not feeling particularly well. Oh, I'm so glad that you're here anyway. Just got out of bed so I won't afflict my dressing gown, feeling down face on you. I'll participate as best as I can. Thank you for being here, even though you're not feeling well. You see, this is the difference. I'm just changing. This is the difference that makes a difference. Can we please all send Marie-Louise a bit of, a bit of love, a bit of get well soon, a bit of all of that kind of stuff. Not feeling particularly well, not feeling 100%, just got out of bed and is still showing up. Was it last week when the Oz Open was on? Vios there in his business doing the laundry for the Oz Open, going mental with towels and all kinds of stuff for the Oz Open, and guess what? Still showed up. It's the difference that makes a difference. Can we get an agreement from our other mentors? When you show up, it is everything. Yeah, even if you're not feeling amazingly 100% well, showing up. Alex is saying he's on the train, listening. Love it. We are online, so there's almost no excuses why you can't be here. So for those people who aren't here, who are watching the recording, show up. When you show up, it makes the world of difference. Yeah. So thank you to those that are here. So let's have a look at the what ifs, winning the what ifs war. I'm going to give you a moment. I'd like for you to type in, what are some of your what ifs? What are some of your what if questions? Tell me. Let's have a look. Type in, what are some of your what if questions? Because I'd love for you to understand and recognize that maybe your what if questions aren't quite as unique and weird and scary as you thought. What are some of your what if questions? Let's have a look what you guys have got.
Can you explain a little bit about what you mean?
Your what if questions? There's one right here. Annalise, do you want to share us what your what if question is?
So starting something new, and my what if, because it's unknown to me, is what if I don't succeed?
Yeah. What other kind of what if questions are there? There are many and varied.
Yeah.
Elizabeth said, what if I'm not qualified enough to make it work? Oh, love that question. Micah says, what if I go broke? Great question. What else have we got?
Yeah.
What Sanchi says, what if I just can't do it? Whatever the it is that it is, what if I can't do it? What else have we got? What are some other people's what if questions? Marie-Louise says, what if my TA doesn't care about their life as much as I do? What's your TA, Marie-Louise? Vaya says, what if I'm making the wrong decision? Target audience. Thank you. Thank you. What if my target audience doesn't care about their life as much as I do? Yeah. Elijah says, what if people don't like what I put out? Brian says, what if they reject me? What is everybody noticing about these questions? Tell me, what are you noticing? He wants to be bold and brave and come off mute. Marie-Louise says, it's all stuff that's out of our control. Some of it Because what if I'm not qualified enough to make it work? That's sort of in my control. Chris says, Chris/Antonia, I'm not sure who it is that's responding here. Come off mute.
I'm noticing that like a lot of us are like seeking like external validation instead of giving ourselves the validation that we want.
Ooh, I haven't spoken like a true guru there, Bryony. Annalise Bryony is our 16-year-old guru.
Hi, Bryony.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sanchi, come off mute. Tell us what you've noticed.
I think it's just mostly in our heads. There's this voice in the back of the mind that's just demeaning us. But then there's another voice that's like, that's not voice, that's instinct that you should do it. So it's the battle.
There's a massive battle, isn't there? And sometimes the what if, who's noticed that the what if, the more focus and energy you put on the what if, tell me, do the questions get like easier and smaller, or do they get bigger and harder?
Well, if we don't go ahead and make a decision about the what if, they usually, I guess, some of them become bigger and some of them disappear, depending on what you've done with your what if.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do nothing except just ask yourself more what if questions, if you start with the what if I'm making the wrong decision, says Vias, if you start with that and you don't do anything with it, and the next question, is it generally a bigger, harder question or a smaller, easier question?
Bryony put up her hand.
Bryony, tell us what do you think?
It's like a bigger, harder question, and it like spirals into like out of our control. And I wanted to add something, like you were saying, like, what if it like doesn't work out? I feel like this points back to like when you mentioned that we should ask the flip version, like, what if I don't do this? Like, what will happen if I don't do it?
Whoa.
And then it'll make us like have hope about like the positive side of things.
That was a reference to the decision making process. We'll get back to that in a minute. Good pickup, Bryony. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Most of the what ifs, guess what? They are all in your head, a whole lot of them, especially when you start asking more and more and more questions. They generally get... and your brain starts exploding and you stop taking action. Who else has noticed that? When the what if questions get so big and so overwhelming and so like, oh.
And then we get like overwhelmed, and then like we just procrastinate everything.
Yeah.
100%. Who else knows their procrastination strategy? We have strategies for everything. Who knows what their procrastination strategy is? Elijah, are you laughing because you know what yours is? Tell us, come off mute. What's your procrastination strategy?
Well, I have a few. One of them is I'll work on a task that is less meaningful, like that I know I don't have to do, and I'll tell myself, oh, I'll just work on this before I do that. Or I'll say something like, tell myself something like, I'll just, make some, clean up my room before I start. Or, make a cup of tea or two.
Love it. Alex, what about you?
Eat That Frog is a book that you need to read, Elijah. Eat That Frog.
Tell us about that book, Alex.
Yeah, so Eat That Frog means if you have to eat a frog every day. Sorry, there's a train just going past me. Yeah, so if you have to eat a frog every day, then that's what you need to do it first. And you do it and then you move on from that. So that's a kind of strategy. So if you have a task list and if there's something that you really hate doing that, what happens is it happens to everyone. I think we all always do the easier ones and leave those tough ones, keep pushing back. So eat the frog means you do the hardest one first, right? In the morning, and the first thing in the morning is you do that. It doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter how you don't like it or not. Just do that first, and then move on to the others. Yeah.
Love it. Love
Thanks,
it.
Alex.
You can eat a frog. Woof, woof. Marie-Louise said, for sure, when her procrastination strategy is cleaning, eating, doing all sorts of other things that don't matter. My procrastination strategy every time is heading straight for the chocolate cabinet. Like the chocolate cupboard always is there. Hello, Catherine. Welcome to you back again. Heading to the chocolate cabinet. Yeah.
Mine's the shops.
Yours is what, sorry?
Going shopping.
Going shopping. Isn't it funny? And there's a very good human behavior reason why we do things like have a cup of tea, go shopping, do cleaning, hit the chocolate cabinet. There is a really, really, really good reason why we do that. Who wants to have it? Who wants to know? Or who wants to even have a guess? Anybody want to have a guess? Stab in the dark. Bryony, give us a stab in the dark.
No, this was like related to the procrastration strategy.
Okay.
Just made me think about.
We'll get to you. We'll get back to that question in a second. We're going to finish one bit and then we're going to head on to the next bit. Okay. Yeah. Marcus says, like, your strategy is reading a bit of news. Who thinks that when they get to that point of overwhelm, of uncertainty, all that kind of stuff, that they feel a bit unsafe, uncertain, unsure? Ugh, there's all too much. It's too many new things. My brain. Guess what? The reason that we go for all of these other things is because we are looking for certainty. We're looking for certainty. So in that space where we're feeling so uncertain and unsure and unaware and just everything, in that space of, I just don't know what to do next, we as humans will always seek out the comfort of the known. Cup of tea or two, known. Shopping, what does it give you, Annalise, when you go shopping?
The known.
Bit of retail therapy, right? Yeah. Gives you this momentary high. Yeah. Cleaning, that's an absolute, so many people use cleaning as a strategy because you know that if you wipe the bench, it will be clean. You can see that you have achieved something. When we are building businesses, when we are building something from scratch, there's a lot of unknown and there's a lot of this space of overwhelm. There's a lot of this space of, I feel like I'm putting in a lot of energy and a lot of effort, but I'm not actually seeing very many results. Who's noticed that? Yeah. Think about a rocket. Yeah. Think about when a rocket wants to take off. You've got NASA doing the countdown. T-5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Somebody come off mute. Tell me what happens when they hit the 0 mark. What happens? What do you see? What do you hear when a rocket from NASA is about to take off? Or, Elon Musk or whoever's rocket it is, Jeff Bezos's rocket. What happens? Does the rocket immediately go like that? What happens?
It starts Slowly. Oh, sorry.
Elizabeth, go ahead.
It starts slowly and there's a lot of noise and resistance before it really kind of takes off and is able to have enough momentum.
There's a lot of all of that, lots of smoke, lots of energy. When a rocket takes off, it has to have this extra fuel cells to be able to lift it off the ground. Who's noticed that when a rocket takes off, it goes like this? It's like it's almost in slow motion. Slow, faster, and then off it goes. It is the same with us as humans, especially when we're building something either from scratch or it's from scratch for us. There's a lot of energy that goes in to creating movement and momentum before we actually even see anything in the bank accounts, in people's responses, reactions, all of that kind of stuff. So we look for something that gives us that certainty. Cleaning gives it to us. Having a cup of tea gives it to us. Shopping gives it to us. Cleaning gives it to us. It is something certain. Tell you what, the chocolate cupboard 100% gives me certainty. Every single time I go there and I know that the chocolate cabinet is going to have chocolate in it, because I make sure it's got chocolate in it. And I know that when I have a piece of chocolate, it gives me that same feeling of, yeah. Humans are super predictable. Let's have a look. What we've got here. Bryony says, yes, the fear of the unknown. Oh, massive. Marie-Louise says, even though she said that what her procrastination strategy is cleaning, eating, doing all sorts of other things that don't matter. She also said, I hate, in capital letters, I think probably underlined, bold, caps, all that kind of stuff, hate cleaning. So procrastination is actually a win for me in that regard. I also hate cleaning too. But it creates an absolute known certainty. I remember one of my mentors saying once that when he and his wife had a baby, all of this unbelievable uncertainty in the world, like so much of everything. You don't know if you're doing the right thing, if you're doing the wrong thing, this, that, all that kind of stuff. He would find himself in the middle of the day, night, all kinds of times, cleaning, wiping the bench, because certainty. I know that if I wipe the bench, then it gives me some action. I know that I'm doing something and it's certain, and I just know that it's going to work. Yeah. Bryony says, it makes me think about the quote, scared, good, we don't grow in our comfort zones. Comfort zones. I think it's a really, has anybody noticed that if you're in your comfort zone for a really long time, what happens to your comfort zone?
Boring.
Boring, 100%. Do you think your comfort zone expands? Catherine's disagreeing. What do you say, Catherine?
Yeah, I think you know, once you're in your comfort zone, you're just too comfortable. Everything becomes mundane and boring, and you know, it's just repeat and rinse and repeat. So there's no growth.
Has anybody, like, do you think when you're in your comfort zone for a long time, do you think your comfort zone expands, or do you think it starts shrinking?
Shrinking.
Who else has noticed that their comfort zone gets really uncomfortable after a while? Like it sort of starts getting a bit tight and a bit constricted and restrictive and like this.
Tight clothes when you reach your comfort zone.
Tight clothes, tight jeans. Who's ever been in a restaurant, gone out for a really amazing dinner, and you've eaten like the right amount, and then you go, yeah, there's some really yummy something there. I'm just going to keep eating. And then things are getting a bit tight. You have to undo the top button. Who's ever had to undo the top button? Okay, bigger question. Who's got home, undone the top button and the zip?
Who's got into their comfy pants?
Who's changed into their tracksuit? Your comfort zone gets less and less comfortable the longer you stay in it. As side hustlers, as business owners, our job to be successful is to continue to stretch and expand our comfort zone so that it can take in more and more and more stuff. Oh, it's scary, right? Expanding your comfort zone, doing things you've never done before can feel scary. On a scale of 1 to super scary, how super scary is it?
Exceeding super scary.
Super duper super scary. Yeah. Bryony says that's, oh my God, that's why people stress clean. Yes, Bryony, that's exactly why people stress clean. I know you had a question before and I chopped you off for a second. Do you still remember what that question was or comment?
It wasn't really a question. It was just a tip that people could use for procrastinating, like when you're like overwhelmed with a lot of tasks. You could like prioritize your tasks, like how I think Alex mentioned one of them, like eat the frog, which was basically like doing the most important thing in the starting of the day. And there's also the Feynman technique, which like it's like a graph where you can just like write all your tasks and then find out like which one's urgent and like which one's not urgent, and then you can like delete the tasks and then you can know like which one's more important. So it like helps you prioritize which ones you should do. So like you know.
Did you just swear, Bryony? Did you just say should?
Well, when you're like procrastinating, like you feel like you should do it and then you just don't know what to do at the same time. This could actually help you find out.
Yeah.
Because we're like mostly in a state where when we're procrastinating, we tend to forget stuff as well. So we're like, oh, what should I be doing? And then you just don't know. And then that graph would really help like clear our mind and know exactly.
Did you just send something through, or is that something that was just an accidental?
No, chat? That was what the graph looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can have a look because it says encrypted. I'm like, ooh, is that something that we should? Is that a link that we can trust?
I'll test it out now. I don't know. I just saved the link of the image, but yeah.
Who's noticed? Let's get back to the word should for a moment. I think some of you may have an understanding about how much I dislike the word should. It sort of does a bit of that to me when I think about should. It is a bad word. Yes, it is. What do we think is a better word than should? So you don't have to should all over yourself. I need. Oh, I think there's a better one than that even. I can. I think there's even a better one than that. I must. Oh, I think there's a better one than that. I'm going to tell you why I think there's better ones. Elizabeth said, I get to. Oh, I like that one. Sanchi says, I could. I'm looking for a specific word to quote Kath and Kim. I will. What about these two words that are the most powerful two words in that universe? I choose. I choose. What it does makes you the boss of your decisions. Because who's the boss of you? Point so that you know that I know that we all know that we all know. Who's the boss of you?
I am.
Yes. When you choose to do something rather than the shoulds, I'm going to explain why some of these other ones are also a bit heavy on your head and your heart and your soul. The I need That word, I need, this comes from a place of lack. A place of lack. I believe that as humans, we have abundance available to us. We have all the resources that we can have, possibly everything that we need. When we say the words, I need, it comes from a place of lack within you. Yeah, that's why the words I need, I don't love them so much. I must, oh, that's almost like a should. There's a bit of heaviness to that one too, isn't there? The difference between I must and I choose. Which one do you guys want?
I choose.
I choose, yes. Why is I choose so much more powerful for you than I must? Catherine, you're off mute.
I think it's just something like you choose to do, like it's a choice.
And what does that mean for you if you got a choice to do something rather than a must, which feels very imposed?
Like it's a decision that you've actually made.
Oh, I think we've got some lag issues with Catherine. Marie-Louise says, you're the master of your future and your destiny.
So it's something that you're willing to do because you've made that decision.
Yes. When you take it on for yourself. Remember on the very first session of Side Hustle School, we talked about knowing your why. Yeah. When you know your why, you can get to choose things that support that why rather than things that are imposed upon you from the top down. A must feels very heavy and I choose feels so much more light. Sanchi says one is a command. Yes, you must do this. The other one is more open. Yes, Via says you feel that you are in control. Bryony, you wanted to say something.
I feel like it like releases pressure of like failure, because like procrastination is basically like avoiding like certain emotions you don't want to feel, and like it creates like a sense of fear that you must do it, like you have to do it, like, and if you don't do it you'll fail or you won't achieve something, and then you just procrastinate it, and rather than choosing to do it.
Who agrees with Bryony? Me too. Now, the problem with the what ifs, especially when they go on and on and on and on and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, is that they become oftentimes more complicated. Who's noticed that the what ifs become bigger and bigger, but also more and more complicated? Who else has noticed that? If you think about your what ifs, yeah? There is this thing that says complexity is the enemy of execution. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Who wants to come off mute and tell me what they think that means?
I think that means that if you start something which is very, very, very complicated, you just get scared straight away and you just don't do it, and then you never do it.
Yes. When we make things big and complicated and overwhelming, we don't do it. Sometimes our procrastination strategies become so big and so powerful that we don't even take the next little teeny tiny step. As side hustlers and future business owners, we have got an elephant in front of us. Yeah, a business is like a huge elephant in front of us. Who's heard that saying, how do you eat an elephant? Who knows the answer to that? How do you eat an elephant? Bios, tell us, how do you eat an elephant? An elephant? An elephant.
one bite at a time.
Yes, one bite at a time. And sometimes, how big are those bites?
They don't have to be very big, as small as you want.
That's it. Sometimes they're just little morsels. Sometimes they can be decent chunks of it. When we get to that space of overwhelm, it's because we had trying to take on so much all at once, trying to take on one task that we turn into this enormous thing, rather than looking at what are some of the little steps that we can get to that will still get us to that end result. Bryony, you've got your hand up. Thank you for putting your hand up. I love that.
This also connects like to making things simple with like smarter goal system, as you said, and that like allows us to know what things we should be achieving step by step.
Oh my God, she just shooted on herself again. Did you notice, Bryony, that you just shooted on yourself again?
Yes.
Language creates our reality. The more shoulds you put on yourself, guess what happens?
Maybe because I'm not choosing to do them.
Touche.
This is why your why is so important, right? Because in any business, is a business going to be all like sunshine and unicorns and rainbows? Do we have any other business owners here that can tell us that their business is all sunshine, unicorn and rainbows? Do we have any business owners here that would like to give us some truthful information about what business is like? I'm looking at Marcus, Elijah, Vios. Yes, Vios, tell us.
If I may,
Please.
Marcus
go ahead.
first.
No, you go.
Oh, reality. I'm still at work. I took myself off the camera because as you guys are talking, I'm listening and work needs to be completed. However, for the last 30 days straight, I haven't taken a day off, and I've been getting up at 4:30 every morning, and I'm on maximum 6 hours sleep. I'm not seeing my children. There's times that I've only had 3 hours sleep. Work needs to get completed. Customers rely on me. And I don't want to deliver an inferior product. It affects our name. I'm responsible for so many people as well. It's not that I'm only failing myself or failing my customers. I'm failing my team. They look to me for the success of this business. My customers look to me for the success of their business. If we fail, if we're the weakest link, the whole chain just breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's devastating. Mistakes happen, and it's okay. But it's what you do after an error occurs. Do you crumble, or do you just go, "Hey, look, I'm sorry. Let me fix it." Step up, fix it. It's not all personal; it's business.
Let me ask you this: as the boss of your business, do you only get to do the really fun things?
Yeah, the fun things are I get to open up first, and I get to go home last. Another fun thing, I try not to wear these, but I've got like about 6 different pairs of sunglasses because I've got super sensitive eyes, and the light just kills me. And I'm always wearing tinted glasses inside.
Do you see how Bios has turned up to every single session of Side Hustle School without exception? Every single one turns up for his business, turns up for his family, turns up in all areas of his life, and that's how business becomes successful. That's how.
Yeah, if I may also add, I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
I'm not here because I have every answer. I'm here to learn.
100%. We love that. Like I think all of us, even my fellow mentors, are here because we also want to learn from you guys. Yeah. We are all in that space of being lifelong learners.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what is fun. Okay.
Tell us.
When the best part of the business is when you do come up against a challenge, something that just rattles you to the core, and you fight through everything, and you don't know the answer, you don't have the answers, but you work at it and draw on your experiences, draw on your knowledge, and you come up with something that hasn't been done before, something that hasn't been proven, and you're like, maybe somebody has proven it and all that, but it hasn't been documented, it hasn't been taught. But you are strong enough, smart enough, good enough. It just validates why you are here.
Who loves that? Can we give some either love or love something, a bit of woohoo? Because
thank you.
As business owners, we also need to be innovative. If we are doing exactly the same as everybody else, and it's the same, why would they not go and buy something from somebody else? Somebody that's already doing that same thing. If we are not bringing ourselves, bringing our self-trust, bringing our intuition, we've talked about this as well with decision making, bringing our intuition, remember that inner knowing, inner knowledge, bringing that to it, bringing our previous experience, all of these things that we can come and bring it together to create new solutions to existing problems. Love it. Thanks, Vyas.
Thank you.
So welcome. Marcus, you wanted to say something.
You had a question. I had responding to it. Forgotten. I got so into what Vyas was saying.
I know. I love it. Love it. It was about, as a business owner, do you only get to do the fun things?
Oh yeah, for sure. Look, I mean, I do enjoy the fun things. Otherwise, I'd give it up. I'd say there are a few fun things, but no, I think that one of the things I always thought that I wanted to get out of my work, my employment, so that I could be my own boss. And I realized I had way more bosses than I had before I got into my business, because every one of my customers became my boss.
Yeah.
So now I had hundreds of bosses instead of one boss. So if I had to begin to realize that that to become excellent at what we do need to. We're always going to have someone that we're going to be serving, and I guess sometimes that can get hard because people are unpredictable. Anyone in a people business would know that.
And what if everybody doesn't love me? What if I don't serve every single person that comes through my door? What if somebody doesn't like me? Who's ever had that thought before? That was a constant thought before I even had a business. What if they don't like me? Lordy. Sanchi, was that you putting your hand up, or was that a question?
No, it was for putting hand up.
Agreeing. Yeah, cool. All right, we are going to have a look in a moment about how we can turn around this mindset of what if this, what if this, what if this, what if negative. We're going to have a look at that in a moment. But Annalise, the amazing legend that she is, Annalise is a beautiful human. She has, for those of you who joined a bit late, Annalise has joined my Business Confidence Hackers as a coach. She's located in Adelaide. She does yoga. She works with a lot of international students. She does all kinds of amazing stuff. And she is going to help us to take a moment of calm, a moment of centering. And she's very, very excited about it.
We're not doing yoga.
Oh, I would love to meet you. I'm in Adelaide too.
Oh, are you? Oh, cool. Whereabouts?
I don't have a place right now, but
okay.
I'll let you know once I have.
Okay, lovely.
And she has been spending the last month or so madly trying to find a location to permanently live for the next while. Yes. Anyway,
luck.
Annalise is going to take us through, you know how I love breathing exercises. Annalise is going to take us through a breathing exercise that she has created for us to help us get into a bit of a different mindset, a bit of a different space in our head, a different space in our heart, different space in our soul, to be able to manage the what ifs in a different way. So I'm going to put myself onto mute, and Annalise, this is your time.
Oh, wow. To shine. Oh, sparkle. Yeah. So basically, I'm doing this from a perspective that I practiced on myself, and looking at your breath and sort of using, we were touching base on intuition and just sensing what's going on within. So it's sort of like a little bit of an experiment, but also a good way of just sort of beginning to realize how you can choose how to react to a situation simply by just taking a step back and just taking a few deep breaths in and out, to essentially, which is what I teach in yoga, it's the unionism of your mind state, the feelings, the breath, and the body. So coming to this point of balance. So what I'd like everyone to do is just simply just close down your eyes, or just soften your eyes somewhere if that's not comfortable for you to close. And just focus on your breath. And just notice the inhales to the exhales. Perhaps notice the rhythm of the breath, the texture, the depth of the inhales entering into body, and texture and depth of the exhales leaving. Also notice parts within your body that you're feeling your breath. Perhaps you can feel your breath in your chest. Or maybe you can feel it a little bit deeper. Maybe you can feel the stomach rising on the inhale and softening with the exhale. And just pay attention with the inhales and exhales coming in and out. And with that focus on breath, maybe just notice the thoughts. Perhaps that period of focus, things that were preoccupying you previously have quietened a little bit. And there's simply this focus of breath coming in and breath coming out. And you yourself receiving the breath. With that feeling in mind, within body, I just want you to think of, we were mentioning the what ifs before, and think of that what if that you raised. And when you think of that what if, notice where you may be feeling it. And maybe even notice how the flow of breath is. Perhaps it may feel a little more rapid compared to just before. And maybe you might feel it somewhere in the body. Just really feel the heat of that what if there. Just observe. You don't have to go into a story about it. Just notice that thought and where it sits within the body and how your breath flows. Now, with that thought, that what if you changed it to a different thought, a more positive thought, such as, if mine was, what if I don't succeed? What if I do? And when you find that positive thought, notice where you feel it within the body. And then notice your flow of breath. Maybe there's a change. You feel a sense of radiance, a sense of openness. Maybe even a sense of calm with the breath coming in and out. And with that feeling, maybe the thoughts, the previous thoughts are quietening and there's clarity. You get a different perception, a different direction. And you can continue just achieving what you want to achieve. So with the breath, each time you sense a what if, a negative what if, a good way of just attuning to that is just noticing breath. So now just notice your breath. The deep inhales now, long exhales. And with that rhythm, just sense within. With that in mind, just start to bring yourself back to this space. You can just make some gentle movements. And as the energy returns outwards, you perhaps can bring your awareness, start to open your eyes, be it softly downcast, then look around, and then come back. So how was that? Anyone want to comment? Yeah, okay.
Very relaxing.
Yeah. Did anyone else want to comment? Makes you so sleepy. Okay. In terms of that negative thought, how does that feel now? Is it less evident? Is it, a little bit different now, or how does it feel?
Yeah, I feel like it's less evident and I feel lighter. It's taken something that was on my shoulders just away.
Yeah. Bias?
Yes, certainly noticed how the breathing altered. It was very deep, filled the chest, the diaphragm, and almost forceful. But later on, the amount of breath I was drawing in, it wasn't as much, and it was flowing.
Yeah.
It almost like it gained a rhythm, whereas to begin with, it was a very conscious effort.
Yeah. And could you sense any differences when you notice the negative thought to the positive thought, differences within the body?
If you kept that going for 30 more seconds, I wouldn't be a part of this meeting. I'd wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. All right. That must be my voice.
Yeah, I found that locating the negative thought or the negative what if in a place in the body I probably have to do this again, but I think that I was almost getting there, maybe to the shoulder area or something like that. And so I started wiggling my shoulders a little bit, and then relocating it to a positive place. I thought that also was very interesting journey that you took us on. And yeah, maybe a couple more times will be a good thing to do, considering that was the first time.
Yeah. I think from my experience, and most recently or last year, I was just sort of downplaying myself and incredibly unhappy, and just coming to a point of stillness. And I mean, I had to take a retreat, but you know, that's me. But just coming to a place of stillness and then finding breath and all the fears and whatnot that was going, or the what ifs, just listening to that and noticing it. For me, it was in my gut, and I had a lot of gut issues as well from the stress and whatnot. So it's that intuitive sense, it's a somatic sense. So if you notice something negative, notice where you're feeling it within the body. And also, if you've been able to get a glimpse of when you thought of something positive, notice where you feel it within the body as well. And the more, it's a practice, so you're not going to get it. I'm still doing it. But the more you focus on something that's a constant, which is the breath, the more you are able to just come to a state of recognizing what's going on within. And you're the boss of you, really. So it's your internal that is telling you something. So yeah, that's
amazing. Who loved that? Oh, sorry, Catherine, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm the same. So whenever I get stressed, I internalize it into my gut. So are you saying that if I do the breathing, does that help? Is that what's helping you?
I think it helps, but then it also calms my mind to then think clearer. So with the what ifs sort of pile on top, and then I just can't see or think clearly. So by finding breath and just noticing it, just simply, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. That's all you need to do. Sort of begins to calm things down, and then you can begin to feel a little bit more intuitive.
Okay,
make a clearer decision. So
yeah.
One of the biggest things, I think everybody's now feeling so chill, aren't they?
Oh, good.
Everybody's just like slow down and just in this beautiful space. I know for me, when you were going through it, I noticed in the negative space there was like a fire in my stomach, like I could literally see flames in my stomach. And then when you asked us to change it into a positive thought, it was like this radiation from my heart. So powerful. And this is an exercise, like what Annalise took us through is something that you can continue to do in your own private time. You can go back over the recording as well, this bit here, and just listen to it, or even just, it's a simple process, really, Annalise, isn't it? Like you've taken us through something that's quite simple, but incredibly powerful. And that is a space of, did you notice that when Annalise was talking about the negative feelings, the what ifs, that it was about not judging them. It was about just noticing it. Who here knows that they put a lot of judgment on themselves for when the what ifs and the shoulds, yeah? Should is absolutely caked. If you've got a if you've got a bucket of should, that's covered in judgment, layers and layers and layers of judgment about ourselves. This is what I should be doing. Other people's judgment, society's judgment, the media's judgment, the advertiser's judgment. When we go into the space of I choose, so much more heart connected, so much more in that intuitive space rather than that burning feeling in your tummy that's full of judgment. So now while we're in this beautiful, calm space that Annalise has helped us to move into, let's have a look at how we can change up let's have a look at what some of the old ones were just real quick. What if I go broke? What if I can't do it? What if I'm making the wrong decisions? What if if people don't like what I'm putting out? What if them? Let's see how we can change up some of those messages that we give to ourselves, because the what ifs are based generally in future stuff or past stuff that we haven't done. Yeah, they're very, very rarely ever based in the now. Yeah, and the now is the only time, the only space that we have, that's our place of power. If we are focusing everything on the future anxiety is just the future stress is just going to give us anxiety. That's it. If we are spending all of our time in the past, that just gives us depression of all the stuff we haven't done. Yeah. Now, the moment of right now is the time where our power is. Absolutely, this is our power space. And in every second of every moment of now, continuing moments of now, this is where we get to choose. Remember, I choose, the most powerful words. In every second, in every moment, we get to choose. That creates our power. Because remember, who's the boss of you? Yeah, I'm the boss of me. You're the boss of yourself. You get to choose in every single second of every single day the things that are moving you towards the goal that you want to have for yourself, that emotional space that we set up in that smarter goal setting, if you're achieving it or if you're not. You'll notice that as we're going through this program, things kind of start stacking on top of each other. Yeah, stuff that we've learnt back there comes back here and it just keeps moving and building on top of each other. There's a reason for that. It's because if we give you everything all at once, it becomes an elephant that you have to eat. And it's overwhelming. This is why we give you little bits regularly rather than everything all at once. So how can we create a space, some words, some language for ourselves that gives us power in the now that we know that we can breathe to create a calmer space in our mind, in our hearts, and in our soul? When we're in that calmer space, does it make us feel more innovative? If you're stressed, is it easier or harder to make a decision? Harder. If you are calm, if you're in that space of relaxing into your beingness, the beingness of you, does that make it easier to be innovative?
Yes.
Guess what successful businesses are? Innovative. That's what I heard you all saying inside of your head. Yes, successful business owners are innovative. That comes from moving away from all of the judgment of the shoulds, all of that busy noise of the what ifs. Because out of all of the what ifs that you've ever had in your entire life, I know I've had thousands of them, millions of them. How many of them have ever come even close to being true? All of these stories that I built up inside of my head, inside of taking up a whole lot of space that they didn't pay rent for even. They're taking space up in my head. They weren't paying any rent. They were actually taking my energy away from actually creating movement and forward motion. They were holding me back and keeping me stuck. How many of those worst case what ifs ever happened? Like maybe one. And guess what? Even if that one worst thing did happen, I'm still here to talk about it. We all on this call, even all of the worst what if things that we've had in our head, we have a 100% success rate of getting through them, past them, over them, under them, around them, on the other side of them. The breathing exercises that Annalise shared with you is a fast track way of moving some of those enormous boulders out of the way so that you don't have to work so hard to get to your outcome. Who thinks that that's probably a really amazing thing to do? Yes, please. The other thing is, you guys know that I love sticky notes. You know that I also love sticky notes that are in a heart shape. I also have sticky notes that are in a star shape, just because I'm a bit of a monster. So how can we change up the language from what if plus everybody knows that all of those other what ifs were very negative, very full of fear. Anybody else notice that? Full of fear. What if I'm not enough? What if I don't succeed? What if I go broke? What if I can't do it? What if I'm making the wrong decision? What if nobody likes me? Yeah, massively full of fear. So how do we create a situation where we can start creating our self-talk? This is what the what ifs are, that is in a space of the opposite of fear, which is, who wants to have a guess? Opposite of fear is? Who was that? Love, L-O-V-E, love. There is a pathway to love if love feels a bit extreme for people. Who wants to have a guess what the pathway to love is? It starts with a G.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Yes. What if we could start creating some messaging, some self-talk for ourselves that is, rather than wrapped up in fear, was wrapped up in gratitude, wrapped up in love. Bryony, you have something you'd like to say?
This actually taps into like anxiety and like being scared of the future, and like when we express gratitude, it helps us like be more present and live in the moment.
There is a very good reason for that. Annalise and I were just talking about this literally the other day, and that is that fear and love do not coexist. You have one or you have the other. Mutually exclusive is the Venn diagram term. This circle and this circle never overlap. You choose fear or you choose love. I'm using these words very carefully. Choose, remember? You choose fear or you choose love. Because who's the boss of you? Yes. And you get to choose if you choose fear, if you choose love. Your thoughts inside of your head, inside of your heart, inside of your whole, your soul, when they are full of fear, become very heavy, become burdensome, become that cargo that holds you down. When your thoughts, your actions, and your self-talk is full of gratitude and full of love, it means that you have fuel to lift off even more powerfully. It's kind of like that high octane fuel. Does anybody watch the Fast and Furious movies ever? Yes. Anybody else? I'm addicted to them. Love them. So I totally love them. It's the family, man. It's the family. It's all about the family. Love it. When they hit that button, that's the nitrous oxide, and they go like that. This is the power of love, choosing love in your self-talk, in the way that you live, versus having a boot full of concrete that holds you back. Bryony.
This also like links back to validation. Like it helps us like validate our own actions, so we don't have to like seek external validation. We know like we can be there for ourselves. Like it's a foundation that we could just lean on and be like, yeah, this is the right decision. And we don't have to be like, what if I did the wrong decision? What if this is gonna fail? But you know, like you trust your decision and your gut, and yeah.
And it's building that self-trust. That's exactly the words, building self-trust. People who are successful in businesses trust themselves. If I listen to everybody that told me about the different ways that I should, hear that word, Bryony, should run my business, it would not be the business that I love. It would be the business that somebody else thinks, who's not running it, who's not invested in it, who's not giving me any money for it, who's not paying me to do anything, who's not anything. It would be their business. And they don't want a business because it's too hard. Confidence Hackers, my business, is innovative because we have flipped the script on mental health, dealing with problems before they become big problems, rather than waiting for people to be in crisis. It is a challenge because it's a whole new concept, but it is so worth fighting for. It's my why. It's why I get up out of bed every day, and why I have changed the what if I'm not successful to other questions like, what if this is so successful that I have to just like that it takes over the world, and I just have these big high quality problems of how do I manage all of the staff and all of the things globally? This is a good quality question to have, right? High quality problems. The what if plus negative is what we call a low quality question, a low quality problem. When we start asking ourselves better, higher quality questions that have full of love, full of gratitude, these are higher quality questions, we end up with higher quality lives. Who else wants a higher quality life? Yes. So we can start asking ourselves higher quality questions that allow us to be, and remember that we need to make that power decision in every moment of the now. They could be questions like asking yourself, what's perfect about this business? What's amazing about my offering? What can I appreciate about my customers? Imagine if you started asking some of those questions rather than, oh, what if nobody likes my thing? What would that do if you started asking those higher quality questions? What would it do? Somebody come off mute and share what you think.
Change your mindset.
How would it change your mindset, Elizabeth?
Focusing, I guess, less on the negative what ifs. A lot of them tend to be quite personal, and a lot about you, but then it, I guess, switches the focus to be more about the value and the service and what you're providing.
It also changes the focus from fear to, what's the opposite?
Love.
Love. What's perfect about this situation right now? Even if you are going through something that is pretty shitful, we've all been in circumstances, in situations where there's been something pretty shit happen. Can we agree? We've all had shit things happen. Can we all agree that even in those shit moments, that there is something? There is a microscopic something. There is a silver lining. There's always a something that we can find that is positive, that's in the gratitude, that's in that love space. Who's noticed that? Yeah, me too. When we start creating a focus on positive stuff rather than negative stuff, everything, not just in your business, but in your life, changes. Now, what does that mean? What it means is that when there are people, when there is stuff around you that is negative, that is dragging you down, that is giving you that sense, that feeling that Annalise spoke about, that negative feeling, we can sense it. There is a physical feeling in your body. When you get that physical feeling, pain is there to tell you something. It's why we have pain receptors in our body and with inside as well. Pain is there to get us to do something different. If we are surrounded by people who are negative, who are putting us down, move away, shift the dial, shift the focus. If your family is negative, don't spend time with them. If your friends are negative, find new friends. Like, I don't want to put too fine a point on this, but the quality of your life depends, your life and your business, but let's forget about business even. Let's just go your life. The quality of your life is determined by the people that you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with negative people, guess what happens? Tell me, guess what happens?
You get depressed.
Yes. Right? It, like, people kind of hang together. I know when I changed my mind, my feeling, my space away from that fear, I don't have enough, I'm never enough, I'm not good enough. That was my big, big, big story forever. Once I changed that story to maybe I am good enough. What's good about me right now? What can I notice right now in this moment that's pretty good about me? Once I started changing that conversation in my head, a whole lot of friends I ended up dropping off. It felt really sad at the time, but it was actually the best thing ever, because I now have people around me that are cheerleaders, that are positive people, that want to help me and I want to help them have the best life ever. Have great conversations rather than, oh, did you see what she's wearing? Oh, so boring. We can have these great lives when we shift our focus from fear, what if plus negative, shift it, flip that conversation to the positive. What's perfect about this thing? What's perfect about me? What can I appreciate in this moment? What does it do when you add on in this moment or right now? What does it do?
Presence.
Yes, it brings you to that moment of power, which is now. Because your mind is either working for you or you're putting it in charge to work against you. You are the boss. What you focus on is what you will find, to the exclusion of everything else. If you constantly look for, what if no one likes me? Then that's all you will ever find. If you start changing that conversation to, what's really good about what I'm putting out at the moment? Like right now, that piece of what's really good about it? What does it get you to do? Focus on amazing things. When you focus on amazing things, guess what you find? More amazing things, more inspiration, higher quality stuff, higher quality questions, higher quality life, higher quality outcomes, whatever that means to you. Change your conversations, changes everything. This will come as a surprise to you all, but Bryony has a hand up.
That was just funny because I was like about to say everything you just said.
I could have just taken a break. Lordy.
You could have just taken a break. Yeah, I was gonna say like it just like it uplifts us instead of like degrades us, like when we think positively, and like, and this like really links back to when you said beliefs, like reconstructing our beliefs like really connects to like how we believe ourselves and like how we see ourselves. And then when we see ourselves in a certain way, we believe everyone else sees it. And that's why it's really important to like reconstruct it. And like I heard a quote that said like, we know what to do, but we choose not to trust it. So like in our gut, we get like instincts that tell us like what we should do, but we just choose not to trust it. And like this really did like link back to a point that you like brought up when I was thinking about saying it. But you were like saying like that like we have so much like gut instincts and we need to trust ourselves. And I was like, Anita.
Yes. And what you'll notice is the more that you start trusting your gut, your instinct, your intuition, the stronger, more powerful it is. It's like any muscle. If you go to the gym, you use your muscle, it grows. When you use your intuition, it grows also. Yeah, it grows also. So can I get you guys to type in the chat box? What would be a way that you could turn around that what if question that you had at the beginning, or any of them? What is an alternate? How could you flip that and have a conversation that's a bit different? Higher quality questions. Remember, higher quality questions, higher quality. What was the end of that one? Higher quality questions, higher quality life. Your high quality questions, high quality answers, high quality answers, high quality life. Bryony has asked the question, why do I feel I need the acceptance of others? That's a really good question. Why do you?
I think it's because like I feel like I don't accept myself, so I try to seek it externally, but really what I should be focusing on is like the internal dialogue that goes on.
Well, you don't have to should do that, but you could choose to do it. She just should it all over. Did anybody else notice she should it all over herself again? Bryony, I've got a challenge for you. This will be a really good one for you, is to get a rubber band. Have we spoken about the rubber bands? Get a rubber band, put it around your wrist, not tight. I don't want your hand to fall off. Get a rubber band, a nice loose one, put it around your wrist. And every time you notice yourself saying the word should, do this. Pull the rubber, not like this, just a little snap, yeah? Because your awareness of your language is everything. You cannot change stuff until you become aware of it. You guys can do this for any time you have that what if, when you start creating that awareness in your head of the what if questions, that's what if plus negative, have a rubber band, give it a little snap, yeah? Every time you do that, replace it with, oh, what's really perfect about this thing at the moment, or me at the moment, or what can I appreciate about this at the moment? Yeah. When you have awareness of your language, of your self-talk, the what ifs is all self-talk. When you have awareness of it, that is when you can change it there as well. Let's have a look. Viosa says, instead of what if I'm making the wrong decision, what other research do I need to undertake? That's a higher quality question for sure, isn't it? What other research do I need to take? How can I trust myself in this moment to make the right decision? That just blew my head. Because sometimes the research that you need to do is going internal. I am so bad at doing research. I have not, I mean, please, Marcus and Elijah, don't listen to any of this, but I haven't done any research about my competition or anything with my business. Zero, none, absolutely nothing. Because I went, you know what? My offering is my offering. I don't care. I will not be like any other business because I am not the same person as anybody else. My business will therefore not be the same. You can take your hands out of your ears now. Your fingers out of your ears. I've done zero. I had to go into a space of trusting self. It's a hard gig. It's so worth it. So worth it. Annalise has said, what are my qualities I can bring to succeed in any situation? Oh. Yeah. What if you made it even higher quality and you just asked yourself constantly, what's perfect about me right now? Whoa. We get really scared of asking ourselves these super high quality questions because we get scared that maybe we're even better than we think we are. Whoa. Imagine if you were. Imagine if you were so amazing and so awesome that the world couldn't handle you, but who cares because they have to upgrade themselves anyway rather than you downgrade yourself. Amazeballs. Elizabeth said, change the what if I'm not qualified enough to make it work to what is it that I can provide that no one else can? What if you are qualified enough to make it work? What if you ask yourself that question, Elizabeth? What does that do? What if I am qualified enough to make it work? What does that do?
I guess it changes the conversation and adds a lot more, I think, faith and love in myself to be like, there are qualities that I possess, and that they are valuable, and that I guess I can put that out into the world.
What if you didn't have to guess, but you knew that you were really awesome? And that you could
it's a lot of confidence that we love. Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to have, I'm not saying you have to have it. I'm just asking you, like, I'm a coach. That's my question, to kind of ask people questions that they don't ask themselves, right? Because we don't ask ourselves these questions. We ask ourselves questions that bring more doubt. And I'm asking you to ask yourself questions that bring more of your own awesomeness out. I believe that we are all awesome humans. Amazing, amazing beyond our own belief. And I know that for certain because the people that I coach go beyond anything that they could possibly expect. I've seen it too many times where people have come for coaching and have been shy, scared, whatever, frightened of their own awesomeness until they're confronted with it. And then they start realizing, actually, maybe, possibly, perhaps, maybe I am. Yeah. And I get it because I used to be the shyest person in the universe, frightened of like having a voice, even frightened of being heard. That's somebody beeping and saying, yeah, I agree. Yeah. And until we start asking ourselves these questions that can flip us out of this same space, connecting with our breath to that feeling, noticing it, not judging it, just noticing it and going, okay, how can we ask ourselves better, higher quality questions? If we don't do that, nothing changes. If nothing changes, nothing changes.
I've actually got a t-shirt that says that. I'll wear it.
I love that. I love that, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Full stop. Elijah says, I love this one. What's great about me and my business? Yay. Yay. Imagine adding right now. What's great about me and my business right now? This moment. What's great about me and my business? Because otherwise you start going off into future and into, oh, well, look, in the future, it'll be this and it'll be that. No. What's great about it right now? What can I learn? What can I notice about what's great about me right now? I can't believe I'm already taking up some of your time. Bryony, last comment, and then I'm just going to ask one more question.
So basically, like, I think everything's just connecting. I'm just going to say that now. And then I think Elizabeth's question is like really great, because it makes me think about what Marcus said, like how like we identify our strengths, and it helps us like recircle back to what we're good at, and like to help, and it really helps us with our business, and like identify areas where we aren't really good, like our weaknesses, and we can like help and like make them better. And yeah, and then I was thinking about everything Marcus said, so yeah.
There's so much. There is so much in this piece of stuff, right? There's so much stuff. We have somebody who, I don't know who it is, but it seems anonymous, has asked, what if I don't meet my own expectations, and change that to, how can I exceed my own expectations? What if I didn't have any expectations of myself at all? Ooh. And I just was. Because the bigger the gap between expectations has got a lot of shoulds about it. Yeah, my expectations is where a lot of should. The difference between where the should and where I should be and where I am, the bigger that is, the more anxiety, the more stress, the more overwhelm, the more your life becomes.
Maybe you could say, I expect myself to love me. Like, make it positive.
What if you just said, I choose to? I choose to love me. Whoa. Heavy shit, man. Heavy stuff. One last question, I promise. In the chat box, please type in, what is your biggest learning, your biggest takeaway? We have covered a lot of stuff today. Amazing. Thank you to everybody who has shared and commented and posted stuff up, come off mute and typed in. What has been your one biggest takeaway, your one biggest light bulb moment? Please type it into the chat box. I should give some hold music. Da da da, da da da, da da da. Sounds a bit like Wheel of Fortune. Da da da, da 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 da. All right, let's go through a couple of these. Elizabeth said the biggest learning for her has been, I choose. Oh, that's an amazing takeaway. And Elise says presence equals power. The now is your power. I don't know. That's probably a really bad rap. The now is your power. Chris or Antonia said, flip the bad and make it good. I'm not good with the good and bads, but flip the stuff that doesn't work for you. Let's move it into stuff that does. Sanchi says, twisting the what if shifts the vibration in your body. Oh, 100%. When you are in that negative space, low vibration. When you turn it into those higher quality questions, higher vibration, higher energy, higher everything. Murray Louise says Rocky music. Da, 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 da. Yeah, thank you. That was my whole music. It was Rocky. Marcus says, I need a rubber band for my shoulds. So do you, Bryony. I think a lot of us. Yes. And then, oops, I choose. Yay. Yay. Yes. Don't make things more complex. How about if we just turn that around? Instead of having a don't statement, we say, make things more simple. Big difference between don't make things complex and make things simple. Let's just turn it into the positive. What is it that we want to have? Make things more simple. Bryony, that love and fear don't correlate, coexist. Yes, it makes me remember how sometimes we believe love is read through trauma. Love and fear, totally different, cannot coexist. Is through trauma. Yes, they do. Love and fear do not exist. You choose one or the other in every second of your life, in every second of your being. Sorry guys, I've taken 8 minutes of your time. I'm a bit greedy. Oops. Sorry. I choose not to do that next time. I think your wrist might be scarred. I'm not, after doing this. Yes, good. If you are doing this a lot and notice that your wrist is hurting, this is good.
I will then stop doing it, which is a good thing that came out of the session.
Humans do more to avoid pain than they do to feel pleasure. So if you need to avoid this, you will do more to avoid that than you will to feel the good stuff, which is, you know, amazing, joyful, love, all that sort of stuff. Thank you, amazing humans. I love, 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 love all of you. Thank you for spending the last hour and a half with me. I'm going to leave you in the amazing hands of Marcus and Elijah. Can we please give Annalise also a bit of love and a bit of a round of applause for that amazing, transformative, I mean, I could tell everybody got off and just like, super calm, super chill. Thank you for your transformative time, helping us remember how to breathe, how to connect to that feeling without the judgment.
And yeah, simple, just I breathe, quick and easy.
That's it. That's it. Easy for anybody to do at any time. You can even take a bathroom break and just sit on the toilet and do that if you need to, you know, like when you're at work.
And you could choose to breathe, because if you don't breathe, you die. So, you know, what do you want?
That's it. That's it. That's it. All right, people, I leave you with the amazing Elijah and Marcus. Love you.
Thanks, Anita. Amazing.
Take care, everyone. See you later.
Appreciate you, Anita. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, there you go. Well done, everyone. Now we are probably due for a break. So, but what's coming up for the next probably hour or so, we won't go for too long, is testing your what if on a very, very, very important question. And that question is, what if my business can make a lot of money? And that's what it is. That's what the next session is about. It's about creating opportunities for your business to actually make money. What is the one big question that you need to ask your business in relation to whether it is a business and whether it's going to make money? However, I think we all need a little bit of a break. Show me the money. Yes, that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was. And that's why my what if question was, what if I go broke? But I'm going to flip that today. Thank you, Anita. I'm going to ask the question, what if my business actually makes a good amount of money? And I want us all to be able to ask that question. And that's our first session for how to make money from your side hustle. Elijah, what have you got to say? I'm going to give us an opportunity to take a break because a cup of tea time is due for everyone. And I've only got a couple of main points to share with you and for you to do a very practical exercise on that very question.
Yeah. Wow. We covered so much today. How many of you enjoyed that last session? Amazing, amazing. So I think, what we're going to talk about today, there's going to be more what if scenarios going to come up so we can apply what we learned. And yeah, like Marcus is, I'm going to leave you in the lovely and experienced hands of Marcus. So you'll definitely be in a good place. But yeah, right now I think it's time for a quick break. Marcus, what do you think?
So when do we want to get back? In about, say,
10, 15 minutes.
It's about 12 past 6, maybe 6:30. If everyone can get a bit of a stretch and come back, and that would be wonderful. Really appreciate you guys. We'll look forward to all our side hustlers back at 6:30.
Amazing.
See you soon.
When that lady was doing the breathing techniques, I was falling asleep.
Yeah, I know. So a little walk around the block.
Yeah. Do what you need to do. Get some tea, coffee.
To the dining room. See you guys soon.
See you soon. See ya.
Hey, Elijah, if you're there, I've passed the hosting controls over to you. So if you want to pause the recording and then put it back on again.
Restart it?
Finished. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Bye.
Follow that. How do we follow that, Elijah? That was such a good session.
It was so good.
I literally got lost in the session. I didn't even know that we were supposed to come on. So how good is that?
Yeah, so good.
I mean, if you figure out your what ifs, if you figure out your negativity, what else do you need? Everything just flows straight after that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It flows straight from that, and it should. I'm going
Marcus
to.
was really engaged.
Yeah, there's a lot of people engaged. I thought it was fantastic. Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm going to get some slides up in a moment. And the objective of our next session is probably one that you maybe secretly, if not openly, asking yourselves, is my side hustle ever going to make any money? Maybe some of you are not as money oriented, maybe you're very purposeful. Maybe you're thinking, well, it doesn't have to make money as long as it's make a little bit. And I'm fulfilling a very powerful purpose, and that's also important for your side hustle to have a purpose. How many of you think that your side hustle should make some money? Would you like your side hustle to make some money? At least some. That's good. Elizabeth is good. Very good. And can I ask a question then? How many of you, do you feel that that your side hustle can potentially make money? You feel confident about that? Anyone? Not sure, maybe. It'll be great if you can welcome Vios again, and welcome everyone. Good to see you all. I've got a couple of strategies that I want to share with you today. And I don't want to get away from what Anita shared earlier, because I would like us to finish the day with that positive what if in our minds and in our hearts. So while what I share will be a little bit technical, and it means that we'll just have to go into our brains for a little while. That's okay. We're in a safe space. I also like us to finish, maybe Elijah remind me that we finish on a positive note, on a note that's not flipping us back into fear again. It's so easy, that happens so often. And I just like us to invite you all to join me on this exercise so that our side hustle thinking is integrated with our mindset thinking. That's so important. And this makes the distinction at Uncommon Collective and the side hustle school that we're doing here. I think it's the first time that I've noticed a side hustle school that connects the mindset with the skill set of making a business successful. So it's really important for us to be able to do that. I'm working it through myself. All right. Well, how many of you have a question, a burning question that you would like to ask me or Elijah or anyone in relation to your side hustle making money? What question would you ask, would you think of when it comes to the side hustle making money? Struggle with pricing. Marie-Louise, thank you for that. That is a very big question. And in fact, it's an ongoing question for many, many side hustlers and business people. We're going to talk about exactly that today. So you're right on the, well, you're on the money, so to speak. Well done for asking that question. Sanchi said, I struggle with scaling. That's an important question. And if you connect those two, pricing and scaling, there's a pricing for market entry and there's a pricing for scaling. And so we'll talk a little bit about that without getting too technical, because the important thing for us in our stage of our side hustle is to at least have a pricing strategy in place.
I think Vios had a question as well. Not sure. No?
Vios, yeah, come off mute, Vios, and I invite you to ask your question.
Yeah, no, mine was the same as Marie-Louise. Okay, it was how do you determine your pricing? Would you look at your competitors' pricing? Let's say you're offering something completely different. How do you basically take into account your competitors? I probably don't even like using the word competitors. I picked up on this maybe 4 months ago. I try to use other people in the same space because my offering is different. So they're not technically my competitors. They're just occupying a very similar space.
Yeah.
So would I look at what the people in the similar space are, where they have their pricing schedule at? Do I take that as a benchmark? And yeah, how do I? Simpler question is, how do you determine value and price?
Great. You're on the mark there, Vios. We are going to talk about both types of pricing today, cost-based and value-based. We're not going to talk about competitor, and that's a good point that you raised, and that there are direct competitors and indirect competitors. And until your business starts, you have no competitors. And then you have people doing something else that you would then have options to what. So competitors are a complex game to analyze. Yeah. So it's good to know that people in your space, and that's a good way of looking at the competition and not getting too consumed with the competition either.
Yeah,
that's an important guidance we get from people who've been very successful. Thank you. You're on the money. That's what we will be talking today. We'll be exploring the area of pricing. And we want to get to a place today where we choose. Don't you love that word, choose? We don't have to, we don't should, we don't whatever. We are going to choose. We're going to make some decisions and selections about what the best possible pricing alternatives could be for our business. And we're going to make that decision based on value. And so we'll talk about that a little bit as we go along. Scaling, so budgeting expenses is really important. And so that plays into revenue or because profit is equal to revenue minus cost, and cost, we budget our costs, but we also budget our revenue. And so, yeah, that's something that's important. If you're a good personal budgeter, you will be a good business budgeter, but not many of us are good personal budgeters. I am not. And so I had to learn, but we can all learn. And pricing combined with education and what Anita said about new types of products and services, really, really good. Did you want to say something, Marie-Louise? I thought I saw your hand up.
I was actually, I was trying to clap Vios for what he was saying. We were sort of talking about the same sorts of things. So
yeah,
trying to say, yeah, that's exactly where I'm kind of going to. And I was a bit like Anita because she and I are both in confidence. There's not a lot out there so far, but I also didn't want to go looking at what others were doing because I wasn't trying to do what they were doing.
Right.
And so that's where I think, there's a lot of talk in the business world about knowing your worth and pricing your worth and charging your worth. but your worth is very personal and it doesn't mean shit to anybody else if they don't recognize that they need the thing and that your thing is going to help them with their thing. So
yeah, thank you.
Finding that connection. Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
And I was just saying, so it's finding the connection between what you think something's worth and the hard work that you've put in or whatever, and being able to price it to a point that they can afford and feel that it's worth the investment for their benefit.
Yeah.
Get from it. So
yeah, I like the because your business is in a similar field to Anita. I love how she talked about the not doing too much research. In fact, she did no research, and because research would have dampened her confidence. And she's a confidence coach, and she can't afford to do that.
And it did for me too,
lady, right?
It did for me because I've done some other courses like this, and they're all so market research based, but it doesn't apply to everybody.
Right.
And even when I was saying, I don't think, that's really relevant to me, I was being forced to do it. I spent a lot of time doing it and coming up with nothing. And
yeah,
I'm a bit like her too. I hate doing research, and it's probably because I've been forced into it, and it's fruitless. And then it was dampen my excitement.
Yeah. Yes. And you being a confidence coach, we don't want that, because that's your product. That's part of your product. But we'll talk more about product and value-based pricing. Bios, you got something?
Yeah, I do. Might be a little digressing away from the topic, but quite relevant, especially considering you mentioned budgeting and so forth. It wasn't until I read and implemented everything I learned from American gentleman. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him. His name is Mike Michalowicz. He's written a book, Profit First. And ever since I implemented basically his strategy, not only my business was always doing well on a financial basis, and it doesn't really matter how well your business does. If you can't retain your profits,
right,
it's pointless. So for anyone that is interested in learning different strategies, especially when it comes to profits, again, holding on to as much of that, if not all of it, I highly recommend Profit First, because
can you type that in to the chat, Bios?
Yes, certainly can.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's great. And this is how we do it. We learn from each other. I really appreciate your generosity in sharing your knowledge. So we are going to go straight in, and feel free to ask a question along the way. Stop me, or when I notice that you've got a question, I'll stop. But we'll go straight into the presentation of what is how to make money. All right. And so what we have here today is a couple of things in relation to outcomes. So at the end of the session, I'd like us to start considering how we will be making money from our side hustle, if we haven't considered that already. If we have considered it, we want us to decide 2 or 3 income strategies or money drawing strategies based on our product or service, not based on our job, because we already get money from our job, but based on our product or service. Now, so it'd be really good by the end of the session, if we haven't done this already, to have 2 or 3 clear, decisive strategies that can help us, that we think that can earn us, can have our business earning money for us. And the third thing, and this is what I'd like us to do, by the way, after all our sessions, I'm inviting us to make a little notebook, if you haven't been doing this already, of all the notes, all the things that you've been taking note of in Anita's sessions, in Elijah's sessions, in my sessions. And the reason I invite you to do that is that at the end of this session, when you get to graduation, you will have another set of notes, different to the previous set of notes after the first graduation. And what you will have is a whole lot of stuff, and you'll be able to synthesize, you'll be able to bring it all together, and it will make sense. It'll make sense for you to make better decisions rather than having forgotten things. And I noticed that if I don't make notes, I forget. And there's so much gold in some of the things that Anita's been sharing. So I encourage you to do that. Thank you for the book. A book titled Profit First by Mika Lowitz. All right. So choose to lock these notes into your business plan notes. I'm calling it a business plan. Eventually, all these notes that you're making for your side hustle training is actually going to be part of your business plan. People without a business plan, without a plan, we don't know where we're going to go. So it's always good to have some sort of plan before you venture on an adventure such as this. And so my question then to you is, do you know about the 4 Ps of marketing? How many of you know the 4 Ps of marketing? If you don't, I'll tell you. They're very simple. These are the 4 things that they're called variables. They're the ones that you and I need to adjust as we go along, as changes take place in the market. So product is the first P, and it includes the function, the packaging, and the services, your actual product. So it'd be good to have clarity on your product. Promotion, we all know what promotion is. It's the thing that people do when they want to tell people about and communicate their product. So advertising, sales, publicity, social media, a whole bunch of ways in which we can promote our product. That's a good little thing to have in your marketing plan somewhere. Description of your product, description on how you plan to promote your product. Place. This P is connected with distribution, logistics, channel. How does the customer get to your product? Really crucial one that many of us, especially our services industries, miss completely. How is the customer going to get to you? How is the customer going to get to you? That's your place. And the final one is your pricing, which is your costs, your discounts, and your margins, and a whole bunch of things related to pricing. We'll see that pricing is, you have so many choices you can make when it comes to pricing your products. So can I ask you a question? And this is just a question for you to guess. Which is the only one of these 4 that stands out, and why? Can anyone throw it in the chat after you think a little bit? Just a guess. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You can explain it in your own words. Virus, you can come off mute if you want to share it.
I'd say promotion, because marketing is associated to advertising.
Yeah.
Great. And the sales.
Thank you, Catherine. That's great. And Nelson Lee, you've got promotion as well. Very good. Promotion stands out. It makes the product stand out. What else? Anyone else? There's no right or wrong answer on this, by the way. It'd be nice to hear your thoughts about which one stands out for you. Which one do you have an immediate affinity? Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, that's good. Anyone? Product, Sanchi, really good. What is it about product that stands out for you?
I think if you don't have it, others won't exist at all. So that's why.
Yeah, very good. Without a product or service, we use that interchangeably here. But what are people getting? What are they getting? And we'll talk about product so closely related to pricing in the very next slides coming up. So well done, you're on the mark. What else? Without a product, you got nothing to sell and you don't have a business. They're all pretty important. Without a product, you don't have a business because you've got nothing to sell, as Sanchi so well explained. Without promotion, you can't tell people about your product, which means they don't know about you. And so a clearly outlined promotional strategy is crucial for your product. Without place, without a distribution, without a physical or digital location where your product can be made accessible by your customers, without place, your customers know about your product because you've told them you've got a product, so they've got something, they just don't know how to access it. How do they get to it? So you can see how important place is. Every one of these 3, you will need to develop, you will choose to develop, I correct myself, we will choose to develop our product, our uniqueness in every one of these 3 areas, and they will cost us something. It costs to create a product. It costs to buy promotion, pay-per-clicks on YouTube, whether it's an SEO strategy or a social media strategy or a banner ad strategy. It will cost. Distribution, yep. When people make and sell products and they've got to get onto a truck, that truck's got to get to a warehouse, every one of those things will cost. Every one of those 3 Ps cost, except for one, and that is price. Price is what brings in the money, whereas product, promotion, and place costs you money. So for that reason, price stands out. Now, all of them stand out for different reasons, but for one reason, the price P of the marketing mix stands out because it's the only one that will bring you money. So imagine how important it is to have a pricing strategy, right? I didn't realize it. It took me a while to figure this out. And I just wanted to be as creative as possible. And I wanted to create a beautiful product. I want to create a beautiful promotion campaign. I want to make sure that people can get access to me. Just forgot that I could actually be creative. And here's the key word. We can be creative about our pricing strategies. And good businesses are creative. Thanks, Bryony, for that. I think product or price, because the product service can provide something that people want, yeah, as price can lure people according to your affordability or the quality of your product or service, and therefore making sales and profit. Very good. They are very closely related because pricing gives you an impression, gives people the impression of the quality of your product. So well explained. So I'm going to give you a couple of thoughts, immediate overarching thoughts to think about pricing, just as you approach the idea of strategy and pricing. A lot of people, when they start out, when they think of pricing, they think of cost-based pricing. They think of how much does my product cost? How much does my service cost? What's my hourly rate, as Marie-Louise shared before? They ask questions about costing, and then they say, well, if I want a 10% profit, then I'll add 10% to my cost. So if I'm selling my product, it costs me $20 to buy this, doesn't cost, maybe $5 to buy this mouse, and I want to sell it in the market, but I can't sell it for $5 because that's not going to make me any money. I should sell it for at least more than $5, even if it's a cent or $1 or $10. Now, of course, we talk about different models of pricing, but your cost-based pricing is the logic of cost-based pricing is that what you buy, what your supplies become your supplies, and what you sell is costed up or marked up so that you can make at least a profit. And we call that a profit margin, by the way, a profit margin. A profit margin is a product that comes in. This mouse came in at $5. I bought it from a factory in China for $5. And if I'm going to sell it for 10, therefore my margin is $5. That may not be my profit because I have to include all the other things that was costed in getting this product to me. So there were other costs. There was my time, and there was my administration, there was my accounting costs, and there were all other expenses, we call them. But the profit margin on the product itself was $5 if I bought it for 5 and sold it for 10. Most people are thinking about around that. They're thinking, okay, should I sell it for 7? Should I sell it for 8? Should I sell it for 10? Should I sell it for just $1 more than I bought it for? And they're constantly thinking about cost. Value-based pricing is flipping cost-based pricing on its head. Value-based pricing is saying, I'm not worried about how much it cost me. I'm thinking about how much value this is going to provide for my customer. And so can you see, the moment you ask that question, the moment you stop thinking about the cost to your business and the benefit or the value to your customer for getting that product, what happens? What shifts? What happens when you start thinking about the value that your customer might be getting from your product as opposed to what it's costing you? Any wild, crazy thoughts for now?
Price doesn't really become an issue.
Yeah, and there's something more. Yeah, you're right. Cost is not an issue anymore, as long as you've covered your costs. So if my customer is willing to pay $10 and my cost is $5, what should I charge?
Repeat that, because that went over my head.
That's all right. If this mouse cost me $5, it's just hypothetical, and my customer was willing to pay $10, what should I charge for this mouse?
$10.
Right. But I could make a profit if I charged $6.
Yeah.
I could make a profit.
Yeah, you could. But
if I made it.
But at $10, later on, if your customer asks you for a discount because they're buying in volume, there's room for you to discount it. However, at $6, there really isn't any room.
There's less room.
Yeah.
That's right. And lots more reasons than that. Now, I'm going to ask you to reflect back on your business plan notes. I'm going to assume you've got some notes that you've been making about your customer. Eliza talked about knowing your customer last week, and we talked a little bit about different kinds of business models. So can we look at today? What we're going to talk about is the difference between value creation and value capture. Pricing is basically value capture. You know, we just talked about that $10 mouse. Pricing is basically saying that, why would my customer be willing to pay $10 for this mouse? That would be a good question, wouldn't it? If you discovered your customer is willing to pay $10 for something that you're getting for $5, and you're happy to sell it for $6, you'd really like to know why your customer will be willing to pay more. In fact, let's go back the other way. Value creation is what you've all been doing already. You've been understanding your customer. You've been thinking about their customers' needs. Is everyone been thinking about their customers' needs? Is everyone been thinking about how to make a really creative product? Something that's different, stands out? Is everyone thinking about how to build some offerings, some variety of different offerings? Well, that's called value creation. Value creation is when you think about your product, your promotion, and your distribution. All those 3 Ps. You're creating value. You want to say, I want to get the best possible product, stands out in the marketplace, different to everyone else. As Marie-Louise said earlier, something that only I can do. Wonderful. That's value creation. Now, what we often do, side hustlers, we neglect value capture. So value capture is basically saying, I'm going to take all that beautiful value creation that I've created, all this incredible effort that I've put into creating this product, and I'm going to capture its value in the form of a price, in a form of which my customer will be able to say, yep, I like that value. I'm willing to pay X dollars for it. So you can see how different that is to thinking about how much the actual financial items of your cost. So what's value capture? Value capture is setting and managing your value-based pricing levels. You sell on value. You sell on value rather than on cost. I'm going to give you a quick example of my business that I was running for a number of years. Imagine in transformation tours. One of the things I really enjoyed doing, that was my passion, is introducing investors, people who like you guys and others, into profitable marketplaces in other countries. So India is where I come from. India has been a growing market for at least 25 to 30 years now, since the 90s. India is known as having the largest middle class in the world by purchasing power parity terms. That's economic terms for largest middle class in terms of what the middle class can buy. And one of the things I find that Australians and people in Asia were really interested in becoming more and more interested in investing in the Indian market. Now, it wasn't easy. If you ever invested overseas or in new markets, they're challenging experiences, especially if you're investing in another country that you know very little of. So I found that taking people on a tour, on a business investigation tour, would be a profitable venture. And so I did that. We had a lot of fun doing that. I took about 15 different teams during that particular side hustle. I don't run it anymore, but 15 teams into tour, international tours, not just to India, but to Singapore and China as well. And we gave people an immersive experience. So this is my creating value. You just picture creating value here. Scarcity was a thing in those days. So it was about 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Not many people were doing it. Mostly people who went into the Indian market were doing expeditions, government expeditions. So that was like, it wasn't an experience. It was more, let's just go and meet some people and stay in some 5-star hotels and come back home. What we were doing at Imagine, we were giving people a beautiful experience to the whole of the country, its culture and everything else. There were untapped markets. We were introducing people to potential clients that their businesses could serve, business to business, and our target was international entrepreneurs coming into the Indian and Chinese markets. That's my value. So creating value is, what was I doing of value for my customers? How did I capture that value? How did I capture that value? One of the ways in which we captured that value, just going to put this over there for a moment, is we needed to cover our costs. So that's still important. We still need to cover your costs. So flights, I didn't provide the flights, so we had to cover those costs. We had to cover accommodation for people who were traveling. We had to cover internal travel. We had to cover staff costs on the ground. We had to cover tourist attractions that we wanted people to go to. So we had to basically cover our costs. How do we capture the value? We then created conferences which had a profit margin on them. And we created the opportunity for people to ongoing support our ventures back in the Indian and Asian market. So we captured value by putting a price on it. That wasn't the price based on what cost us, but it was the price based on what the average business entrepreneur was willing to pay to investigate a new market. So we charged around between $5,000 to $10,000. It actually cost us around, say, about $2,000 to $2,500 for each customer. But we charged between $5,000 and $10,000. Was I ripping people off? Well, I had to earn a living. So I was actually earning money as well. We were feeding a family, but we are also getting some incredible opportunities for people. They were able to meet other business people. They were able to invest in factories. They were able to invest in businesses that would make them potentially millions of dollars. So $5,000 to $10,000. There was one business guy who said, well, no worries, buddy. Just talk to my accountant. Just, all done. Tell me, when do we leave? Didn't even bother negotiating on that price. Why? Because there was an incredibly powerful perceived value that the customer was getting when they saw the creation of value that we were providing. So I'd like us to think about this for a moment. I'd like us to apply a little formula for value creation in your business, because the assumption is that if you can create value, you can capture value. Got that? If you can create value, the more value you can create for your customer. My customers looked at these and said, man, this is great value, 10 grand, no problem. The more value you can create, the better you can price, and the better you can capture that value in the form of a price. So the FAB model, it's a very, very common model that's being used to think about how your product is creating value. So before we even capture that value, this is an opportunity to be confident that you have a bundle of products that can create incredible value for your customer. Has anyone come across the FAB model before? All right, I'm just going to check that. That's okay. Great. Elizabeth's had to jump off, no problem. Features, advantages, and benefits. It's a very simple acronym for features, advantages, and benefits. Now, the best way to explain this is that a feature is a design element. It's something that the product actually has. It's either physically or some sort of feature that it has. So when we think of a mobile phone, for example, we usually say, this is a great phone. The product is the phone. This is what we usually say, right? What's your product? It's a mobile phone. Well, it is and it's not. When we say this particular device is my mobile phone, is a product, what we're really saying is what it does, what the features are, is the product. It's the design elements, the way it looks, it's the apps that it contains, it's the speed, the way it goes. Now, an advantage is a deeper way of looking at your product. An advantage for your product is what does it do and how does it work? The design element, the way it's designed, is the feature. What it does, what actually does, how it works, you know, how Androids are different to iPhones, can be pretty annoying if you've got one of both. You know, the way you move the cursor around when you're doing your texting, the way you swipe up and down, and the way things move, you can see that how it works is very different. Some people find that the swiping up for the iPhone is a better way of working, so they find that to be an advantage. And so think about your product and think about what are its features and what are its advantages. And finally, the most important, the ultimate most important, if you're going to create huge value for your customer in order to price that value, and that is how it helps. Benefits, FAB, benefits, how it helps and why they will buy. Here's a very quick example, the air conditioner example that I think of when I try to explain what FAB really means. I'll think of you know, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s when some cars didn't have air conditioning, right? And you're a salesperson in a car yard, and you want to sell the latest car that's come out with factory air conditioning. Well, that was a big thing in those days. Nowadays, you know, most cars have air conditioning. You got factory, so you want to sell. As a guy comes to the shop, to your car yard, your dealership, and you're the person selling. You're saying, hey, you know what? I've got the best car. Guess what? It's got air conditioning. You should buy this car because it's got air conditioning. What's the feature? What is the feature of the car? The feature of the car. You actually, when you say buy this car, it's got air conditioning, you are selling a feature.
You're selling their comfort.
Sorry?
Their comfort.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've gone one step deeper, and that's an advantage. So the feature is the air conditioning. Comfort is what that does. What does air conditioning do? Well, what does air conditioning do to someone who's on the road a lot? Keeps them cool. Thanks, Bios.
Yeah, well, during a hot summer's day, it keeps them calm as well, especially if they're stuck in traffic. Great.
And if someone's on a road a lot, why would they ultimately buy that car?
Well, the last thing they want to do when they're going to see a customer is sweaty and smelly. So
yeah. And what's the benefit now? What would be the benefit of why they would buy that car with air conditioning?
Aside from comfort, peace of mind.
Yeah.
It gives them. They're relaxed. They're able to perform their duties at a higher level because they're on point.
Great. And ultimately, that could translate to
Dollars.
Making a sale or making a better income or achieving some amount of success.
Yeah.
Great. Now, if you were the sales guy at the car yard, what are you selling? How would you sell that product? How would you communicate it?
I'd ask them, what is it? What are the challenges they face with the current car that they've got? What is it they don't like? Get them talking. Let them explain to me what it is they don't like, and then basically tell them, well, this car solves those problems. So you can buy yourself this car. Okay, you're going to have exactly the same problems. However, if you want to alleviate your life of the issues and the problems that you're currently having, well, this car alleviates those issues.
Right. And you could also ask him something else that you just mentioned earlier, and that is, what is it that you do?
Yeah.
And what is that? Where does that lead you to?
A better understanding of who they are and a better understanding of what they might need.
Why they're buying the car with air conditioning in the first place.
Yeah.
What does the success mean to them? And how is the car with air conditioning ultimately lead them to feel like it will improve their chances of success?
Yeah, without a doubt. You can even ask them, do they have a family? Yes, I do. Okay. Children? Yeah, I do. How old's your child? Oh, my child's an infant. Well, have you ever ducked into the shops to get a carton of milk? Okay. Do you really want your child stuck in a 50-degree scorching car?
Right. That's absolutely, you're on point there, Bios.
I'll put myself on mute again.
That's perfect. And now I'd like us to think about what Elijah talked about last week, about knowing your customer. So you can see how the link between knowing your customer, asking all these questions, beginning to know what they like, what they don't like, what does success mean to them. It all feeds into this idea of, okay, I'm going to create a product that creates so much value for my customer, not in general, but for that particular target. Someone mentioned target audience earlier on. I thought it was a great point. So much value for your target audience. How does your target audience look at features, advantages, and benefits? What are your target audience's benefits? Why are they really buying? And the way to get to it is to keep asking why. Why do they buy? Why do you want this product? Why do you want that? Why do you want to feel comfortable and cool? Well, I mean, some people like it hot. Why do you like to be cool? Why do you like to be cool on work days? Why do you like to be cool when you are presenting to customers? Why do you want to present to customers? What are you achieving when you present to your customers? Lots of questions to get to pricing. This is under the iceberg. This is under the iceberg of your pricing tip. So I'm going to ask us to write in the chat, and this is something that I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on. This is a mystery product that's got features, advantages, and benefits. So my question to you is, what's the product? What do you think the product is? In the chat, or Catherine, if you like.
Sorry, I just said it was a skincare product.
It's a skincare product. Okay, so you can see features. It reduces wrinkles. It comes in an easy to use home care kit, and it's pH balanced. You can see that those are features. What are the advantages? Makes you look younger. Right. Easy to use at home. Great advantage. Easy on your skin. Fantastic. Now, why? Why do I want to look younger? Well, to feel more attractive, to get that promotion, to feel more confident, so no one will know my true age, to fall in love all over again. That's a nice thought. Anyone? No, don't have to answer that question. You might be able to attract that person you've had your eye on. Can you see reducing wrinkles is a feature? Why? Because it makes me look younger. Why do I want to look younger? All those benefits substantiate. So this is something you can do with your product, and I'm encouraging you to do that. I invite you to do that today, right now, as you consider. In fact, take a moment to look at your product and give me a fab response in the chat. A fab response. It's going to get you to think a little bit. And no right or wrong answer. This is your journey and this is your creative journey. So that's okay. Now in the chat, what's a feature of your product or one that you're thinking about? What's an advantage, or why is that feature important? And what's the advantage lead to in relation to core benefit that your target customer is going to be thinking of? Fab. Feature, advantage, benefit. Give yourself a few moments and feel free to create some thoughts in the chat. It's okay to press enter when you're ready. If you would like to talk it through, feel free to come off mute and talk it through as well, and we'll all be happy to be part of that discussion. Feature, advantage, benefit. Anyone. There could be a number of them, and that's good. That's good if there's a number of them. Just choose to share just one from your thinking. If you don't get the advantage, don't worry too much. The main thing we're looking for is the difference between benefit and feature / advantage. Some people don't use the advantage, some people do. Sanchi, would you like to share?
Yep. So do I have to first tell the product, or can I just say?
Yeah, just share, and we'll, yeah, whatever's on your mind.
Okay, so the feature is, it is done for you template for your social media. Advantage is it saves you time and money. And then the benefit is it will improve your engagement and social media presence for your business. Nice,
very good. Yeah, I want to get how much does that template cost? Wait, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay, let's unpack that for a moment. Features is a template. You have a template, and that's going to help people do what?
So it's a done for you template. So it's already made, and you can either edit it just according to your brand, or you can post it straight away on your social media.
Oh, templates. Okay, actual posts, pre-made posts. Great.
Templates. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the advantage?
It saves you time and money. And
totally agree.
Yeah. So you don't have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't have to hire a social media manager or a person to do it for you. You can.
Great.
It saves you time and money.
And benefit?
Is that it will help you improve your engagement and social media presence.
Great. So I would flick that into advantage as well. So you got it. The last statement you made. Yeah. Help you engage your social media. That's an advantage as well.
Yep. Yep.
What is who's your target audience?
Small business owners who mainly do their businesses through social media.
And why would small business owners want to improve their engagement?
So that they increase brand awareness and get more traction. So
right, that's benefits.
Oh.
That's benefits. So you keep asking yourself the question why until you can't ask the question anymore. And then you're starting to look at, and especially with your target audience in mind. So small business owner no doubt wants to do it quickly. That's an advantage. They want to increase engagement. Absolutely. The guy with the air conditioner wants to feel cool, but he hasn't got to the benefit yet, because the benefit is defined as one that will benefit uniquely that target audience. And so that person's going to want to feel cool because there's a confidence that comes when he or she is going to present to customers and finally achieve what they want to achieve. So whoever your target audience is, and I guess this is where target audience becomes important, knowing your customers, and we're going to do another session on knowing your customers, is how well do you know your customers so that when you communicate to them promotion, their benefits, product, they will look at it and say, I want that, not because it's an advantage, but because it's directly going to benefit me. And so the question is, another good question for you to ask, just a final thought for you, Sanchi, is what type of small business customer owners are you targeting?
It's not one specific. So my template, I have different products for different small business owners. There are generic ones, there are specific ones as well. So
great. So your small business owners, the question that you would keep asking yourself is, my small business owner person, why do they want this template? How could it benefit them besides the fact that it gets them quicker engaged? Because anyone wants engagement. An influencer wants engagement. A teenager wants engagement. Everybody wants engagement. That's still a feature. Why does the small business owner want engagement? That's when you'll get to benefit.
Yeah.
But great. Thank you. Fabulous. Fabulous. We're getting into the meat of it now. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
Hi. Yeah, I was trying to write mine. I was struggling with differentiating between the advantages and the benefits. So I've got this signature offer, which is a course that the women can do at home. There's a community group, a Facebook community, so they can get support. But they do it basically at their own pace, choosing which way they go next themselves. So I've got the features as done at your own pace. You choose the pillar you want to, sorry, that's my phone, sorry, all of a sudden, you want to work on, and the tasks that you want to do. The advantages that make you feel more capable and confident, and the benefits are the ability to live the way they want, in control, able to adapt and deal with the things that come up.
That's well done. That's good analysis. Now tell me about, that's good analysis. I think you've got to the benefit. Okay. Tell me a little bit about your target audience.
So they're grown women who want a better future than the past.
Now tell me exactly what you did with that benefit before, with your target audience in mind in the statement.
Gave them the choice.
Yeah, the benefit that you had before.
Well, so the ability to live the way they want, in control and able to adapt. Yeah. I was saying they've now got the options to choose whatever they want to do, and the ability to do them.
Great.
As well as deal with whatever comes up. Yeah. I just repeated it, but that's kind of maybe I'm stuck.
No, that's good. The missing element is, I'm getting excited because I can see so much potential in these examples. Is your target audience. And the personal connection between you and your target audience. Yeah. Your benefit statement and your target audience. What's that personal connection? And you know, the missing bit is actually what we're going to do next week, which is talk a little bit more about our target audience. If we connect what Elijah did last week, which was know your customer, we're going to have know your customer 2. We're going to create profiles of our target audience. So Sanchi's target audience are small business owners. We're going to create a profile for her. Your target audience are women, but we're going to now put flesh and bones and pictures and an imagination to your target audience. That's when you'll see all the benefits come alive. When they come alive, people are saying, okay, that's when show me the money becomes relevant.
Well, because I'm already promoting it.
Yeah.
and I'm trying very hard, and I would hate to do another week's worth of work heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And then do it next week, and it's so close. I guess the women that I'm looking at are the ones who've so far been sort of put in boxes and been told how to live, but they're realizing that they're not happy and they want to be happier, and they're trying to figure out how to do that.
Spot on. Well, you're on the right track. You're starting the profile process.
Okay.
You've got a profile.
All right, great.
You're on the right track with that. We'll just enhance that and make it a bit more interesting.
All right, thank you.
And we'll have a heart connection between a brand connection between your business and the profile. And we'll do a little bit more of that. But you're right. I think you've got your target audience in operation. Nelson, thank you, Marie-Louise. That's beautiful. It's very, very stimulating conversation there. Quick and easy finance for Nelson. That's your product, which is your features. That's good, quick and easy. You might even want to talk a little bit about what you might have in the terms and conditions of your contract, of the finance contract. You might want to talk about the interest rate itself, Nelson, the number of features. You might have an interest-free period or a low interest period there in the finance area. That could be all part of your features. Saving in time and money is, definitely an advantage. Everybody wants to save time and money. And then your benefit, build your investments and purchase your dream home. Great. And again, I asked the same question as I asked others. Who is your target audience when it comes to invest, the person who wants to invest or buy their dream home? Who is that target audience? Because you would, if you knew that, you would be able to put legs on that particular benefit. But that's good. You're on the right track there. Absolutely. Elijah.
Yeah, I just noticed that Vios had a hand
Yes,
up.
I just saw that. I was going to get to him. Vios, go for it.
Features, it's local, excellent hardware, the place is inclusive, and it offers a stable connection. Advantages, meet like-minded people in person. Benefits, there's a cash prize for the tournament. It prepares you for live tournaments, and if you don't have a team, you can actually come to site and through meeting people form a team.
Very good, very good. Tell me about your target audience, because you have two, right? Do you have parents and children, or just the younger generation? Doesn't matter. The gamers.
Gamers.
Gamers. Gotcha. Why does the gamer want to win that cash prize?
It can go towards getting them better hardware. It can go towards paying for their trip overseas, where there are bigger cash prizes. Basically, playing in these tournaments, they can play at home. In the comfort of their own home and all that, but when it comes to live tournaments, the pressure can become immense. Whereas
you're talking about all the benefits there, going overseas and all of that, their benefits. So you can see the cash prize possibly veer into advantage,
right?
And the ones you mentioned before, why do they want to win that cash prize?
Overseas,
expanding their horizons, getting more gaming. These are benefits. That's what they want. Ultimately, that's what they want. Super excellent.
Recognition.
Recognition. Huge. I'm just doing an Anita on you. Huge. Why do they want to come to the gaming center, that environment that you're creating? Why do they want to be there? Besides the cash prize, let's explore another avenue.
The social aspect of it.
Right. Why do they want a social aspect?
They're not getting it at home.
Why are they not getting it at home?
Why are they not getting it at home? Because they are at home. They are isolated from the rest of the world.
Yeah, they're stuck.
Yeah,
in a sense, right? I mean, that's my word, but you need to use your word. It's your target audience.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer to that question is benefit.
Run that by me again.
The answer to the question, why are they not getting it at home? Why are they not currently getting their social stimulation? Why are they stuck?
Yep. Yep. So that is a benefit.
Yeah. Why should they be there? You talked about last week about getting a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
Yeah.
There's a benefit.
It's the socialization.
Friendships.
Yeah.
Friendships. Friendship is a huge benefit. That needs to be splattered everywhere you go, every in all your comms, all your promos.
Yeah.
Lots of exciting things. Lots of exciting things you can do with that Vios. I'm getting excited, and time's running out, unfortunately.
I'll mute
myself. I love this stuff. So our promos should focus 100% of the benefits, and is there some sort of ratio? Thank you, Marie-Louise. You're starting to think about the 4 Ps, which is great. Yes, your promos should include benefit, and should you include specific aspects of your target audience, characteristics, their personality, who they are, how they look, how they think. Absolutely. That's what your promo should. Is there some sort of ratio? Well, you have a little bit of advantages and have a little bit of features, as long as they connect back to benefit. Oh, we got this great iPhone. Well, what does it do? Oh, we get this new app. What does it do? What does it do for me? That's the question that your customers are asking. We are running out of time. And I think the most important thing we have done is beginning to start tapping into your fab for your product. Now, there's a couple of strategies. I'm going to ask Elijah to give these slides out. We've talked about value-based pricing. I'm just going to flick through it. Here are some actual strategies now. Pricing strategies. Once you've done your fab, once you've done your features, advantages, benefits, that's when you're now in a position to ask someone for money, because you're so convinced that your product is of a high quality. And here's some ideas. I'm happy to cover it later. These are some questions that: what's your product's fab? Have you captured value? And what are some pricing strategies you would employ for your side hustle? I'd love you to put these in your notes. What are 2 or 3 pricing strategies you will employ for your side hustle? Now, I've given you a short list, a very cool, simple, easy to understand short list. And it'll be great to see 1 or 2 of these in your notes after you've done your fab. Catherine, you're unmuted, so you have a question or a thought? No? All right, I want to make sure.
I was going to ask if we could get the slides, but you've answered it already.
Yes. We had to run through a little bit because we're getting some great stuff from Anita and did not want to interrupt her. In fact, I'd forgotten how well she was going. But let me say this, guys, I really, really, really appreciate you all being here. Thank you for hanging around. Thank you for sharing some important things that you're doing. What can we think about? How can we reflect back to our mindset? What did I get just as a reminder? If you're feeling discouraged, you're feeling those little negative man or woman in the back of your mind starting to say, you know what, you haven't got enough value, you haven't done enough work on your business, you're not good enough. What if you haven't thought too much of your business? What if you choose the wrong strategy? How can we flip that? What's good about what I'm doing right now? What are the good ideas that I've actually landed on so far? And what can I do today How can I choose to do something small, something small? Your MVP is your simplest version of your product. How can I offer my MVP, my minimum viable product, to my potential customer at the simplest possible price? That's where you start. And I know that each one of us can do that. I'm absolutely confident that we can do that. Elijah, anything else you'd like to share before we close up and go and have our dinners?
No, yeah, thanks for that, Marcus. I think that was really, really well said. And I suppose, like, you know, during this time, there's so many different options. You might be feeling like, you know, what if you get your pricing wrong or the offer wrong? And one piece of encouragement would be, you know, what if you get it right? What if you put something out there, you test it, and you discover that, you know, what works, what doesn't work, and what if you can refine your pricing and your offer over time and it gets better. So that's kind of what, about. Yeah, I'll pass it back to Marcus.
And what if Vios goes boom and suddenly has $1 million in the bank? Well, I hope that he would remember us and take us for coffee, Elijah.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Well, all the best, guys. Thank you, Marie-Louise. You're thinking of offering the PDFs from the program in an ebook. Yeah, what a great idea. That would be a feature that would definitely benefit your customers and your minimum. Yeah, you're welcome, Nelson. All the best, guys. Enjoy dinner. Enjoy a cup of tea before you go to bed.
Awesome, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
I look forward to seeing you next week.
Wednesday, actually.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Wednesday's going to be good. Anita's back with college.
Yeah. Bye.
No worries, Sanchi. All the best.
Bye. Thank you.
Take care, guys.